the SWN's docking area is, and that is where they were doing the major refits to the ship,
Right.
as well as the repairs. Because you can get repaired at just about anywhere. You can get the basic repair work for your hull done, but getting refits done, especially the slightly more extensive ones you're aiming for, usually requires a bigger space. And Walker Aeon is considered one of the better ones around and larger ones, especially for a Drive 2 upgrade. That's kind of the big one that you'd want a larger, well-renowned place to do it, I guess I would say. Speaking of which, I'm going to modify this here and remove Spike Drive 1, and it'll just be Drive 2 upgrade. It's the same piece of tech. So that also makes the list slightly less crazy. But then taking off from Walker Aeon, you are headed back down to the planet. Pull that out. Yeah, what time would you guys like to leave? I guess would be the question. I would say you could leave any time after, say, 5 p.m. for appointments and a little bit of base recovery time.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. Of course, Johnny goes right when I'm about to switch to... God damn it.
Such is life.
Oh, I just got back.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
had a couple things I needed to deal with.
Yeah, life's getting a little difficult.
Oh shit, this looks beautiful in this web browser. Oh yeah.
What?
I'm using a new web browser and I like it.
Okay.
Which one?
Opera.
Yeah, Opera's not too bad.
Dark mode is fucking sexy. I love it. Everything is dark. I don't even know how they do it, but everything's black. It's great.
Including like the in Roll20 chat stuff.
Yeah, everything is black. Yeah, even my pop up of my character bio and shit is all black. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's nice. Like legitimately nice. All right. So, let's see how this goes. Johnny, you wake up the following day from when all the craziness happened in the meeting and you get some sleep. You wake up the following morning. There seems, I believe you had found a little spot off to the side, or in one of the buildings around the compound, just as a bunk room for the night. As you wake up, there's already quite a bit of activity. You wake up pretty early. And you can see that the kids are kind of doing what they've been doing for the most part daily, going and speaking to... Oh, that's why.
Okay, I'm here.
Let's see here. Speaking to Dara. You, however, are not called anywhere in particular right away, but there are quite a few individuals, some that you've seen, some that you really haven't, but that kind of makes sense. You've only been around for a little while. But some do look like they're new arrivals, I guess, hauling crates, just a lot of activity moving around the compound, moving, like I said, crates and boxes into the warehouse for whatever reason.
Are there any like lines going in and out, like electrical lines, data lines, shit like that?
Not that you can, not immediately visible, no. You would know that actually most of the lines, data lines that are running in there, either come up through or come down through the ceiling or are run underground. It just
Okay.
seems to be a nexus point for specifically for the doctor. Typically speaking, although you have seen them have, the group itself have meetings there quite a few times.
All right. Well, I would. And how long is this going on for? Just like a couple days, or is it just? Oh wait, it's the raid day, isn't it?
It's the day. It's not. You don't know that it's the raid day, but you do know that they have been ramping up towards it. So you kind of start to get a feeling with all the new faces and the increased activity level, since at least compared to when you've been there, that they're certainly gearing up for something. As you look around, you can see the two large sort of sliding doors um, of the warehouse are open, and every so often you see one or two splicers carrying stuff sort of go through and come back out. And you can see sort of looking on just outside the door, almost like a door guard, but not really. You can see Dr. Himari, the geneticist, I guess we'll call him, that altered you, sort of looking, just sort of watching, and you can kind of tell he's just not a happy man right now. Not that he's ever really happy, um, most of the time, but he is sort of watching over all this movement of equipment into his facility, and kind of has a bit of a scowl on his face as he's sort of glaring at everybody, and everybody's just sort of ignoring him.
I get the you're all just trampling through my workspace.
Pretty
Vibe.
much, yeah, yeah. This is my place. What the fuck are you doing? Even though it's pretty obviously not his place exclusively.
But he's basically a mad scientist, so there's no difference. I would offer to maybe carry one or a couple crates in and see if I can scope out more places to put down line shunts to get more access.
Sure. All right. As you sort of go over to find uh somebody to sort of talk to figure out what needs to go in. You meet up with a very interesting looking splicer. He has big front teeth and sort of a pointed nose. This sort of thin, almost patchy, I guess I'd call it, fur, and an elongated head, almost into a snout. Long, somewhat long claws, and a relatively longish or like medium-sized tail, I guess I'd say. Um, it looks a bit like a rat, who seems to be directing uh, traffic, I guess you could say. And as you walk up to him and ask him, he sort of points at a couple of crates that he figures you can pick up, which aren't too crazy large, and points you into the warehouse, and you sort of join the line going in.
Cool. All right,
As you pass, or as you get up to the door, Dr. Himari glares at you as well. But it seems he's just sort of, it's impotent rage at this point. He's just angry at everything, and able to do basically nothing about it.
Can I try to find a spot for new line shunts to get put in?
Sure, give me a notice check as you sort of walk in. Okay.
Starting off strong.
Yeah. First roll of the night. Great job. As you enter in, you sort of looking around, and now that all this other stuff has been sort of piled up, and you see that they've probably been at this for a while. you're not entirely sure how you slept through it. They've been at it for quite some time, and all the areas that you'd kind of seen before as potential areas that you could, or potential data lines that you could tap into with line shunts have basically just been cluttered up with boxes of stuff. Looking around, other than that central column in the middle of the room that is always being watched, you're really not seeing anything.
Ah, shit. All right. Then I'm just gonna give up on adding any more line shunts.
Yeah.
And once I'm done with the boxes, they're gonna just slink off to my room and attempt to subvert more of the systems in there and see if I can get access to if there are any cameras in the meeting room or more data on what's on the bomb job, and also what it might be getting ramped up towards the breakout.
Okay. So, as you sort of head back to your bunk area, your stuff is still there. You sort of pull out your data slab and start looking through data files and what you already have, and your sort of little notes that you've written down, as well as responses from Detective Dolan. You sort of, well, you know what? Give me what would it be? Computers check or program check?
Okay.
It'll be with int. Okay. You start sort of fishing your way through the system a little bit further. And, well, you only find one interior camera. Basically providing a view directly down onto one of the chairs used for splicing. You assume it's sort of a video record of, how each, or it's used as a video record of how each procedure goes, and was not online before, is now. The other cameras that you find are primarily exterior, not interior. However, you do find two. The first one covers the main door. It's a camera that you haven't really seen before, actually. You're not sure if it's new, just reactivated, or very well hidden, but it's not one that you'd ever picked up before as being there. The second one is around the back of the building, and from there you can see it doesn't aim directly at the warehouse. Instead, it aims at a small gate at the back of the compound. There, you can see there is that gate is partially open, and the live feed at the moment shows two humanoids, basically two people that are not splicers, although it's low enough resolution you can't be 100% sure who they are, leaving the compound under escort of what looks like a familiar cat splicer.
Are they in uniform or just plain clothes?
Pretty much plain clothes as far as you can tell. There's no real identifying marks. But they are basically to walk out that gate, and the cat sort of looks around for a moment just to make sure nobody else is around, and then closes the gate, and puts a bar down so that it is properly locked and barred.
Interesting.
Then scampers off.
I'll just go ahead and leave my data slab open for now and just open like some screening programs, which basically makes it look like I'm just like browsing space YouTube.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, there's well, here there are sort of there are some, how would I put this, dedicated news channels and sort of like programming, but most of the I guess we'd call it internet is sort of GeoCities level.
Okay.
So you can probably find some stuff. I mean, the funny thing is that there's decent cameras, so it's like GeoCities sort of web design with like 4K video on it. It's real weird. But yeah, I mean, you can spend some time just sort of looking around and chilling out.
Yeah, and I guess that's it for now.
Okay. So about an hour and a half goes by, maybe two, as it gets a little closer to noon, and Clyde, the dog splicer that you had sort of not so much intimidated or anything, but
Made
you had met
acquaintances with.
earlier. The cat is the one you scared after she kind of fucked with you. But he swings by, drops you off a note. Sort of, you get sort of like a low growl from him. More of a, you kind of see it before he even comes in. He seems amped up, slightly more aggressive in general. Not directly towards you, just sort of towards everything. Stressed would be a good way to put it. So, ears back, the sort of shorter tail low. And he hands you what looks like a handwritten note, and then begins. He just basically turns around, leaves, heads over to what looks like a group of about 6 individuals, all various splicers who are moving one last grouping of boxes. You didn't see it come in because it wasn't there before, but moving a few boxes. They're smaller. They're more like hand crates. Maybe like about the size of, say, a personal trunk that sits like at the foot of your bed. Not crazy large, but they look extremely secure and extremely kind of pretty heavily armored would be the way that I would put it. As you're watching them sort of leave before you read the letter, you also see a couple of the kids having been released from Dara's tutelage for a bit, with what looks like sort of sneaking around the side of one of the tenements, one of the smaller, living buildings, with what looks like maybe a string of M80s. So that's something else you sort of pick up.
Oh. Well, I'd be a
Little
fool
cherry
not to
bombs.
think those secure crates probably weren't carrying some sort of weapons.
Perhaps. Something important.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna open up the note real quick as I'm closing the door.
All right. It reads, functionally, you're required, or we humbly ask you to join us at 7 p.m. tonight for a meeting to once again go over the information that you've provided us so that we can develop a proper plan for the freeing of our comrade. It's signed a name that you don't know. Although, if you had to guess, It might be the gorilla.
What's the name?
The name is. Let me scroll down again. I have a very, very long list of names now. The name is Brian.
Okay. Can't wait for his autobiography.
What's that?
Can't wait for his autobiography.
Yeah, he's just from the way that he writes and what you've the amount that you've talked to him, he seems like a pretty terse but formal individual anyway. Kind of works. That you get that sort of idea.
No,
Yeah,
he's a
Simeon
little
would be
stick
good.
up his ass.
Yeah, a little bit. So,
Okay, I'll go ahead and send off like the last batch of, or just a quick batch info to Detective Dolan about the
okay.
there are now crates here. They're filling up the warehouse with stuff. I think whatever's happening is going to happen within the week.
Okay. All right.
And then close everything up and head over to the meeting when it's ready.
All right. You hang out for a little bit. You hear sort of a loud pop from behind the bunkhouse you're in, and sort of get up to sort of peek out the window, and you can see maybe 4 kids between the ages of 8 and 13 sort of looking at this little depression in the ground from one of these M80s. And one of them just starts laughing hysterically. One of them is like on the verge of tears. You get the idea. They've never really played with anything quite like this, but they're both excited and scared by it. And at that point, you see Dara sort of haul ass around the corner faster than you've ever seen this older splicer sort of move. Start sort of yelling at them about launching off fireworks, in the middle of the compound.
Once he's done with that small tirade, I'd like to just like pop my head over, growl at him, kind of loudish, and then tell him to, hey, set that shit off somewhere quieter and don't hold on to it either. Not unless you want to get a new hand. Then
Okay.
I'm gonna just storm off.
Yeah, with you, between you and Dara, they all look sufficiently chastised. Heads down, sort of, in the typical,
Kid in
guilty
trouble
kid
look.
way. Yeah. Dara makes them hand over a few of the or what M80s that they're carrying, basically. Not exactly M80s, but they're about that size. And then shortly thereafter, it's time for the meeting, and you can see that quite a few more people are involved tonight. As you enter into the warehouse, there are what was 4 or 5 people has now grown to about 20 to 25 inside. And to kind of move through the exposition relatively quickly, everyone is sort of brought up to speed with what you know and what they know. Where where Jarrah is being held, and that he's being moved soon.
Just gonna like go reconfirm this is the schedule that we're working off of and stuff.
Yep. They show the footage that you sort of been able to provide, and you're asked to sort of recount what you saw, what sort of the where this stuff is supposedly going down, what sort of just little details of which I'm not going to force you to like roll to remember. You have notes, you have files for that particular reason.
Yeah. Yes.
But
just gonna like pause at a quick question. It's like, hey, what about the quote unquote garbage chute? Are there any cameras there?
refresh my memory at this point. Are we talking about the dumpster in the back or somewhere else?
No, yeah, the dumpster in the back.
Okay. There is no camera directly into the dumpster, but there is one that it's sort of near it. That
Oh,
seems
yeah,
to
the
be the
one
one
I,
black hole zone. Yeah.
Okay. And then there were no other cameras like below it or leading up to it from like not the lot.
Not that you would have been able to find. Actually, if you've had some spare time, if you took some time to sort of look through it, sort of the regulations and things, security cameras are basically, or private security cameras are not supposed to be aimed at police stations. So the only security cameras, typically speaking, aimed at a police compound or prison are their own, sort of by statute.
Okay.
But as everyone's sort of discussing this stuff, you can see that there are some older individuals, scars and sort of
Real leathery skin.
yeah, or just sort of white tips on fur, like or silver. So the silver fox thing going on in some cases, quite literally, um, throughout the room, um, sort of are nodding along as, yeah, this is kind of normal in a sense, right? In recognition of the way the world is. But towards the back of the group, you can tell that some of the younger individuals are getting quite angry, getting their blood up, I guess you could say, from all this. Whether or not they knew it to begin with, you're not sure if this is the first time they've seen, this sort of, these sorts of pictures or video, or if they're just younger and more, shall we say,
Passionate.
yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
We'll go with passionate.
Mm.
You get the idea, but yeah, there's some that are definitely.
Are any of the blue sharks or cobalt sharks there? Blue shark.
Looking around, no, nobody that is wearing anything that would tip you off is that, and everyone in this room currently is a splicer, other than the doctor. There are no, I guess we call them pure humans here currently.
Is Brian currently preoccupied?
He is sort of leading. He seems to be the de facto. Well, I wouldn't say leader, as you can see quite a bit of deference given to the older individuals here, and if they speak, then everyone seems to shut the fuck up. Brian seems to be the one sort of guiding the meeting along, bringing up, okay, next point this, almost like a secretary in a sense, or a scheduler. But yes, essentially he's preoccupied with guiding the meeting along and making sure that everyone gets a chance to be heard. He's there, but he is very much focused on the group as a whole.
Okay.
Not
Sorry,
on
just
any
I was trying to
individual person.
formulate like what would Tirani do? Because I'll go ahead and keep quiet until like the end of the meeting, and then I'll try to go like get Brian's attention for just a couple minutes,
Okay.
pull him off to the side.
Okay. So this meeting goes on for about an hour, hour and a half total. It's probably about 8:30. When you get the idea that their plan is not tonight, but the following night, now that they've sort of stockpiled resources, and the following night is when the movement, or the prisoner movement is supposed to happen. They will get get Jera, free him. One small group will be doing that. Well, they'd sort of broken into groups to run screening and all that stuff, knowing that it would also cause likely some blowback to this particular compound, or to wherever the prisoner was moved to afterwards. They're going to move him off-site and use that as sort of a staging ground to get rolling on their other plan. But as I said, that's what they sort of came to. At the end of that, at about 8:30, sort of the group breaks up into smaller groups as they slowly filter out Brian speaking to some of the older individuals within the group. But after probably 15 minutes of waiting patiently, he does notice you, and moves over towards you to as you got his attention.
Mr. Brian?
Yes.
I just had a couple questions I thought might not be pertinent to ask in the grander assembly.
See, go ahead.
What, I know how we stand right now on the vanilla human perspective, but I was wondering what exactly was the purpose of the little meeting we had earlier with the other humans that were here with Dara. Or, excuse me, slip of the tongue, Sella.
Well, Sella thinks that well, they have been providing some of the more illicit goods required to defend ourselves. And unfortunately, they are a necessary evil for us. But Sella, that is, wish to use them as well in our defense, and I thought differently. So unfortunately, it didn't go quite as well as she had hoped. But such is life.
Understood. And I'll go and just like kind of lick my chops, but like flatten my ears. That was the main crux of the question. But
I see.
what if I told you I saw her leaving with 2 more of them just earlier? I'm not sure if you had any prior knowledge of an extra meeting today, but
I did not. But Sella is a bit chaotic, for lack of a better word. She knows that we are moving soon, and unfortunately, she prefers, as her form of coping after being captured herself, to partake in less savory substances. I would not be all too surprised if she was gone for the rest of the night. It seems to be something that happens with her, and despite wishing I could help, she will not accept that sort of thing. It is for her to come to the realization or the conclusion that she wishes to stop. I will wait, as I had with Clyde, until she comes home and is ready to change.
Clyde, really? He seems so usually laid back.
He does now. It was not always so. He, as a younger man, he was a bit of a hellraiser, much like myself. But, as they say, like father, like son, and he has walked my path for some time.
Good to know, father and son. Also, I didn't want to insult any of the more venerable members of the assembly, but could you maybe tell me just a quick cliff notes, if you would, of whose toes I should definitely not be stepping on?
As a general rule, it's a good idea not to step on anyone's toes, but the ones you truly wish to look out for are, well, the older ones tend to be more understanding and would prefer to sit down and talk with you. But those that you have seen here, with their anger on display, just if you see that look, perhaps let them burn out their anger, at least for tonight, for many of us. The information and videos you brought are not new. It's been a fact of our lives for as long as any of us can remember. But for some of the newer generation, it may very well be that they only grew up with the stories. They'd sure been beaten or stopped or bothered by the security forces, but it may have been some of their first time seeing what we had grown up with and still deal with to this day. Let everyone sort of cool down tonight. Tomorrow, we will show that we are not so weak. But tonight, perhaps step on no one's toes.
Understood. Thank you for the advice. And I know now with feeling like I'm in the right skin, I am more of a fighter. If you need anybody to do more electronic work, I still is my forte.
Perhaps tomorrow I could send you and a couple others to get us a view of our route so that we know where everyone will be and they can see it directly. This is a good idea. But we'll do that tomorrow. It's unlikely that we'll be able to make our way tonight to get proper views or cameras or intel. But I have a few friends who are quite adept at creating clothing and disguises to allow us to walk on the surface. I'll get a hold of them.
Give him a deeper chin nod and thank you for your time, Mr. Bryan. Good night.
Thank you for listening. And you can sort of see, this. He's definitely in the older group, maybe not the oldest, but you sort of see a slight smile come across the sort of, silverback's sort of face as he nods to you, and you can see he's pretty tired at the moment as he sort of walks slowly back to briefly talk with the doctor and then head out himself. And you are free to do whatever it is you wish to do.
I'm just gonna head back to my room and finish off the night with maybe 2 or 3 hours of reinforcing my encryptions.
Okay. All right. About 2 hours into that, you see quite a few people have gone to bed. Most of the crowd has dispersed. Some leaving the compound, some not. Sort of seems that those that came in are probably left for a little bit and headed back to wherever they normally sleep to reconvene in the morning. Around 10-ish, maybe 11, you see 3 of the older boys from earlier sneaking away with what looks like a couple of more M80s, and this time sort of sneaking off towards the back of the compound, far away from anybody else. They're fast enough, though. You're not gonna catch them, unfortunately. But yeah, you do notice that as many others have already started trying to get some sleep. But eventually, into the day comes. Sleep takes you. As your encryption has been reinforced. I'm not going to make you roll for that. You can do that easy enough.
Thank you.
But meanwhile, the rest of the group, those that are traveling via shuttle, you left it around 5 or so. I believe is what we decided, or what you guys decided, earliest you could. If that changes, that's fair. You be about halfway through your trip at this point. It's a little bit cramped on a much smaller shuttle, as the larger ship is being worked on. But yeah, is there anything you guys want to do on the shuttle to prepare when you get surface side? You should land around 5, maybe 6, depending on traffic around the planet.
No, nothing for me.
Yeah, I think our main goal is just to get back in touch with Johnny.
Okay.
Dex, are you taking the Icarus armor? Because I remember I offered it to you.
Yeah, I took it. I got it.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Okay. Now, the people that were staying were Oswald.
Me and Cap, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. And Evil. Okay. What are you guys doing? You guys have had a good 6 hours to fuck around?
Working on my suit.
Okay. Cap?
I probably would be like studying up on stuff to get a little smarter on like things that the ship has going on for it.
Sort of learning some of the systems, and
Yeah.
as they're tearing stuff out, sort of and tearing stuff out and replacing it with new equipment, sort of trying to learn what that new equipment actually does and how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll get a buzz from the tech room. Just says, if you need a tutorial, I'll be happy to give one.
Cool.
I know
Yeah.
this ship inside and out. Well, mostly inside, honestly. But offers there.
Sounds good. I might take you up on that on particular parts that don't make any sense.
It all makes sense. It's just what you have to know. Anyways, I'm going to be working on stuff. If you hear burning or smell burning or hear, just assume I'm fine. All right? Okay. I close the door.
There are a couple of workmen working outside of the ship, patching up some of the holes in the armor from some of your earlier fights. Meanwhile, there are some individuals that are sort of going through your ship as well, pulling out and moving things around so that you have new, so that it matches the new picture. And as they do, as each one comes in, especially like the extended med bay, they bring you, as they start setting that up, they have this thick book, probably about 4 to 5 inches thick, sort of very much the user's manual for every little component that they're installing. They sort of leave that with you, as they've done this 100 times. They know how to set it up, but they sort of leave that with you. And you start slowly picking your way through some of it to try to figure out how some of it works. And then you notice that there is a series of 4 books. It seems like as they started work, before everyone else left, they had left it in the bridge for all of you, and there is a series of maybe 3 or 4 large volumes, similar size each, and it's various physics of spike drives and how to maintain and work with those. So you have plenty of material to go through.
Yay.
I'm just sort of imagining you just making a pizza, going down there, doing that, and then as soon as you finish the pizza, get really annoyed with the book, and then go and get another pizza. So that's just sort of in my head what's happening, but I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah, pretty much.
The attention
fair
span
enough.
of a pizza slice.
Pretty much.
Fuel
Well,
for the
she's
pizza.
Yep. It's study pizza, damn it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, In that case, we will wrap back around to Girani. As you get some sleep, a few hours go by. You had heard the kids messing around, and you definitely heard, sort of a distant M80 pop or 5. Maybe a little bit of yelling from one of the older splicers at the kids. But about 2 a.m., you're awoken by what sounds like a couple more M80s going off. You sort of, groggily look at your data slab, and it's late as shit. And then a couple more, and then a couple more that are closer. And as you sort of rouse from your sleep, and you can kind of see a couple of other people kind of stirring a little bit, you hear sort of an interesting sound. It in this sort of steel jungle, steel jungle, concrete jungle sort of mixture underneath the plate that holds up the, I guess we'd call it the surface or the midtown. Sound travels further. It has more angles to bounce off of. It's sort of contained. But you hear a sound. Sounds like a thump. And a few seconds later, instead of an M80, you hear a mortar shell explode on the wall of the compound. And that is where we're going to take ourselves a 5-minute break. So I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to do that thing. I suggest anyone else, if you need a break, take a couple minutes, and we will pick back up in just a few.
All right, y'all heard them in. We'll be right back after no messages.
So, let me grab my drink here. So I don't know if you saw that message, but the ship and you can't communicate with a 10-second delay as they're coming in. It'll slowly get less and less. They're about 3 hours out. All right. You ready to jump back in? Johnny? Yes, and as that happens, you hear that same thunk sound a few more times, as this time not so much explosions afterwards, but this sort of smoke begins filling in, or these canisters fly through the hole in the wall and begin filling the interior of the compound with this sort of thick smoke. You are not directly in the path of it yet, but there are some wind currents down here, and it does spread the smoke slowly throughout the compound. Those that are all right. Those that are near it, you can see begin coughing quite a bit. You gather that this is likely something akin to tear gas, as the sounds of definite gunfire, although not what you're used to as gunfire, probably less explosive, less loud, still loud as fuck, but less loud. As people begin taking hits from rounds coming from where the smoke from the hole in the wall, although you can't directly see out due to the smoke. You see people falling on broken legs and taking hits here and there. A few rounds bounce off a wall near you, and you can see what look like about fist size like people fist size rounds of what looks like maybe rubber or something along those lines, essentially rubber bullets being shot in. They're I mean, within just a few seconds, the whole compound is in a bit of an uproar as people are sort of screaming, some in pain, some in terror, and are attempting to get out. It's become a little bit more chaotic. You can see a few of the older splicers sort of gathering people up. It's interestingly quite calm in this situation, gathering people up and directing them away from the smoke, away from the rounds. But that is where we start with you. What would you like to do? There is a small window. It's open. Yes. Okay. There is essentially a bunk bed that you've been sleeping on. There's nobody else in your room, and your room leads directly outside. There is a small dresser, and when I say small, I mean, you know, probably hip height, and probably about 2 feet long, in there as well, and a chair and a small desk. Not as of yet. Don't know if they will or not, but currently there is no return fire. It's been maybe 30 seconds to a minute since all this started. Okay. Okay. You exit and you have you said you had your Atmo sort of your breather on. Okay. All right. You begin running out. As you do, you can see another round of these smoke canisters being fired off a little closer, and you get a little bit of the sting, not in your lungs, but certainly in your eyes, as they begin to sort of well up with tears. It's incredibly uncomfortable.
All right, fuck this. I'm activating the fucking helmet
Okay.
on my armored vex suit.
Okay. You put your helmet on and create a seal. You begin running. Well, were you wearing it while you were sleeping? I'm not trying to.
Oh,
I'm not
no.
saying
That's
yes
a
or
very
no,
valid point. Shit balls.
because the suit has a backpack sort of thing that has all your filtration. The helmet doesn't directly. You could put the helmet on, which would probably help a bit with everything that's going on, but and at least reduce the effect to a degree. But it is. Yeah,
No, I would not have left the room without a
without
minute
what?
or two to just put it on.
Okay. Okay. In that minute or two, you see quite a few people from the tenement sort of areas sort of falling back. You see several of the older generation running out from the warehouse area, wielding not so much weapons in this case. You see a couple of them with maybe pipes or metal bars, that sort of thing. Nothing too, sophisticated, I guess. And they immediately go up to some of the houses without the doors that have been opened and are using those pipes and bars to break open the doors to make sure that nobody else is inside. You get the feeling that a lot of the older individuals have been through something like this before, whereas a lot of the individuals who are younger have not. However, you manage to quickly put on your vac suit, um, and as you leave, you see Dara, interestingly, running through the tenements, holding two of the youngest kids with two more of the slightly older ones running alongside, just sort of staring back in horror. And at this point, from where you are in the tenement houses area, you can start to see figures moving through the smoke that are not splicers. Initially, upon looking, you see cobalt patches on them, but they're kind of wrong. Like, just the way they wear the armor, the way they move, what they're using, you're not 100% sure, but you being familiar with the cobalt sharks, this looks much more controlled than, say, a gang moving in, specifically of sharks. So it's not the same thing, although they're wearing the uniform. Or, well, it's not really a uniform, but they're definitely wearing identifying marks to, to at least pass themselves off as sharks.
Interesting. Okay.
As that happens, you do see behind them, this sort of initial group that is moving through the compound, firing rubber bullets for the most part. A group of maybe 4, just through like a little gap in the smoke. You can see a group of maybe 4 or 5 individuals wearing no markings, just sort of combat armor. Except they have proper rifles. And every so often, one of them takes a shot, and you can see just somebody fall to the ground, no longer moving.
All right, I'm gonna go fucking sprint over to Dar and get them behind. Try to get him behind cover, away from line of sight of the rifles.
Okay. You run over, you grab the other 2 kids that are running behind him. He acknowledges you, sort of quickly nods, and the 2 of you sort of move to a little closer to the large warehouse, seeing that the front doors are partially open, and several of the individuals in the compound have sort of either run through there or run past there. Some of the people there are now grabbing various implements. Some are weapons, some are not. Just sort of whatever they can. Sometimes they're just grabbing. Just something to sort of defend themselves to a certain extent. Nothing seems all that organized at the moment, although you can see, as I said, sort of the older individuals are trying to organize and move everybody out as quickly as possible, with the least amount of chaos. And in the areas that they're at, it's working for the most part. But you sort of move Dara along near the warehouse, sort of dodging between small buildings and like wells and various ground features, just to keep cover. As the smoke finally reaches this area in a decent amount, and Dara and all of the kids just begin coughing and wheezing, and their eyes sort of well up with tears and irritation. Thankfully, with you in the armored vac suit, you're able to kind of very slowly lead them through the smoke towards sort of the back of the warehouse.
Yeah, I'll just pick Dara up, tell the 2 older boys to just grab onto my belt, and I'm just to drag him in there.
Okay. Dara's already holding on to 2 other kids. You're not gonna have a good time trying. You can kind of, throw. You can pick up one of the kids, have the 2 olders hold onto your belt, and sling one of Dara's arms over your shoulder, I suppose, and sort of, guide him that way. But yeah, as you're going, you start to hear the crack of proper gunfire, not so much the thud of the rubber bullets, ring out a little more often. The smoke has beaten you. You're moving slower. The smoke has washed over you and ahead of you. But thankfully, you are familiar enough with the area to move through, relatively quickly. You've been here for a couple days, and you did check out the back of the warehouse at one point with that camera and everything. So you're moving through towards the back gate. You see an opening. You see that the back gate is in fact open, and several individuals are running out through that gate. You assume it's probably the same on the other side. How do you want to go? There's a big open area ahead to make it to that gate. It's sort of just an open area.
And people are running out of that gate?
Yeah, they're from inside the compound. You see several splicers sort of running out that gate, just trying to get the hell away. That is an opening that they can get through to get the hell away. There are less back here than there probably are up front, but quite a few are running.
Where is the warehouse itself to me right now?
You guys are kind of you're kind of around the corner. So they came through the sidewall. There's a front and back gate. They came through the sidewall where the tenement houses are. So you have sort of circled around the warehouse. So that is sort of blocking you from directly to the side. But there's a big open space between the warehouse and the gate. I'll just do this.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like trying to wrap my head around the
I'm
geography.
gonna put
of
this over. I'll put it down towards the bottom underneath the second floor. So, warehouse. So the whole thing. Gate. Gate. Houses. All over the place over here. And actually, this is a little bit further down. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this to work. I need to zoom in.
And where am I?
Right. Basically, no. Move your token real quick. Anywhere.
Okay.
Right here.
Sorry, I figured I'd try to use the just like a shape instead of the giant token.
This is fine. I can resize it. You're kind of here with Dara and all them. This is, I'll show you. This is, let's just use the color. This is kind of where the break happened in the wall. So you have some cover over here. But if you want to make it out, you got to go there. Not 2.6 meters, but you got to get out this gate here at the back, and that is an open space.
Okay. Is there a back
That's
door
my only
to the
point.
warehouse?
Yes.
Okay. Would I remember where and how to get back into that little room I first woke up in?
It's that. Here's the double doors to the warehouse. Yeah, that room was kind of about there. So you could go through this back door here and run down to that trap door if you wanted.
I'm gonna just very loudly ask Dar. Dar, do you know if they'll search for hidden doors?
Most likely. And you can just see he's struggling to breathe and talk.
All right, shit. Okay, I am going to undo my helmet, take off my mask, put it back on, and then give him the mask. And hopefully that helps him.
Okay.
Tell
it's
him
a simple enough thing to do. But you are, as you do that, you know, you will be taking at least one breath of this this gas. I mean, it is. I'm not gonna make you roll for it, but it stings like a motherfucker.
Okay, thank you for
and
not
it
making.
sort of fills your lungs, and you do cough a little bit just from a little bit of it. Tanaka can tell you what CS gas is like, I'm sure. It's fun. I know what it's like. It fucking sucks. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not fun in that sort of quantity.
All right. Then I'm gonna just like, okay, we're gonna make a break for the back door. Let's go. And I'm gonna move them in front of me so that my body is between them and the sidewall.
Okay. Roll me. Somebody. I don't care who. Roll me a d6.
I got it. Sure.
All right.
2.
Okay. All right. As you begin running, the smoke is sort of passing a little bit, like the initial wave of smoke has sort of passed by you a little bit, so it clears up a bit, but it still lingers in the air. At this point, you can see behind you, towards the break in the wall, there are quite a few individuals, splicers specifically, on the ground with various broken bones, or in some cases, cracked skulls from rounds. Some just seem to be dead. The As you run, there are a couple of individuals who do see you, and a few shots seem to be rubber bullet shots ring out. One of them colliding with one of the older kids on your belt, instantly breaking the leg, and it ricochets off that and sort of hits you in the back of the leg on the calf, but it's lost so much kinetic energy it only leaves a bruise. The kid is unable to move, or rather unable to run, can only kind of hop along.
Fuck, goddamn.
And you're already carrying essentially 3 people.
Fuck, I'm gonna put Dara down and just pick up the kid.
Okay. And he sort of, with the benefit of the respirator, not really being able to see 100%, but being able to breathe a lot better. You see, for an older guy, sort of that adrenaline fueled terror. I have to protect.
What's
Who's
Dara
around me.
spliced with, by
Just
the way?
he is spliced with a wolf, I believe. Is what I have him as. Sort of an old gray wolf. He sort of starts running as hard as he can towards the door. You get the idea that he at least knows roughly the direction you are aiming him, and he just takes off running as fast as he can. You pick up the kid. They're not too crazy heavy. You pick up the other kid and start running as well. As you do, you look behind you at everyone, and the focus has changed to the back door of the warehouse as the group that is carrying actual rifles sort of swings around.
Oh, son of a bitch! How far am I from the gate?
You're about halfway. You're kind of there. The focus is now on this door, as you see a large gorilla sort of creating a shield with his own body in front of a familiar white lab-coated figure, the doctor, who is looking around in abject terror and carrying something in his hand. Not particularly large, maybe the size of a baseball, and they begin moving quickly. You can see Brian sort of almost posturing in a very silverback way, and the individuals with the rubber bullets, start firing at him, and he kind of just shrugs them off. He's just sort of taking it as the doctor sort of, at the sound of gunfire, begins. You can see his eyes grow wide and sort of terror creeping up. And as you guys sort of get to the gate and you push them through and look back quickly, there, the focus now sort of turned towards the large gorilla and the doctor. The doctor sees you guys get out, and he makes a break for it early and begins running as fast as he can towards the gate.
Cool. I'm gonna reach my hand out.
So he's about here. and Brian is down here a little bit. And as he breaks away from Brian, running straight towards the gate as fast as he can, this sort of manic, wild look in his eyes, you hear a single rifle round shot ring out, and the doctor falls as the shot pierces his arm, then air, then his chest cavity, and out the other side.
Oh, someone's got a sniper rifle. Oh no.
And he falls directly down, just face plants into the dirt, sliding a little ways, and his hand, the hand that was up, was holding whatever it was that he was carrying, and it rolls out in front of him. It's a silver, mostly silver, spherical something. You don't know. From here, with the smoke and everything, you can tell, you can see the glint. It's definitely metallic of some kind, but it slowly rolls forward. And sinks into a depression of a footprint left in the now heavily trodden earth as, people have run away.
Okay.
At that point, you see Brian get sort of change his demeanor, sort of looking around. He sees nobody else immediately under threat. You were sort of one of the last to run out this part of the gate. And with
And
the
I'm gonna
doctor
go
on the
back in.
ground. What's that?
I'm gonna go back in for that fucking orb.
Okay. As that happens, Brian notices you running back in, sort of gives you a nod, looks down at the doc and sees that he's not doing so well. You're not sure if he's dead or not yet, but he is certainly incapacitated, is probably the best way I can put it. And you see this huge silverback gorilla splicer charge at the individuals with rubber bullets, trying to get beyond them to the ones with rifles. More heavy rubber bullets impact his thick fur and huge musculature, and it's like it's like so much rain off of a windshield.
Oh god.
As he charges in and begins physically just punching each one repeatedly in the chest and face.
Oh, I
And you
want to be
see
there.
individuals sort of falling down as these heavy fists impact them pretty much immediately. Each strike, one or two, to each individual, sort of puts them on the ground and very much knocked out or incapacitated. And as that's happening, it provides enough cover and distraction for you to run up to the doctor, who is gasping for air, very much on his way out. You've seen dead people who are dying before. And just by looking at it, it's unlikely you're going to be able to save him with
I'm
what
just gonna lean
stuff you
down
have.
and then fucking slap a Lazarus patch on his chest. You owe me.
Interesting. Okay, make me a medicine check. This is going to be a high DC. I'm going to
Healed?
tell you that now. Or yeah, heal. Sorry,
Oh,
I'm playing
that's
D&D
gonna
a
be
lot.
good.
Heal check, and we'll give it dexterity.
Hold on. Let me just go ahead and pray real quick to Jace. Please pull through.
Okay.
Dexterity.
See. It'll be dexterity. 9. Interesting. Okay. I'm not going to tell you if you succeeded or failed. I'm going to tell you what happened. You slap the Lazarus patch on him quickly, sort of reaching one hand out to the exit wound and sort of closing that up with your hand while putting the patch on the entry wound. You see the doctor sort of wincing in pain as you do so. He sort of looks up at you. A little bit of blood coming down the side of his mouth. And you see him look up at you, half recognize who you are. And immediately his eyes dart around for that sphere that he was carrying and begins dragging himself over to it like a madman, grabbing onto it, and sort of he quickly glances at it and then looks back up to you, this time with proper, with actual recognition of who you are. And he looks back down at the sphere, like hardened thought. You can see he's in a lot of pain.
I'm just gonna grab him by the back of
but
the
he-
lab coat and drag him.
As you do, he immediately reaches up, puts the sphere in your hand, in the hand that is not currently on his side.
Okay.
And he looks at you and says, "Give this to Jace. She can do something with it. Take it. Tell her. Take it. Take it to the artifact. She can figure it out." And then you see sort of, he kind of collapses right there, and his face goes into the dirt. And you see kind of a small smile on his face. But unfortunately, the DC was 10.
Oh, it was so close. All right, cool. I'm just gonna hold this body up and use it as a shield as I'm running
Okay.
back out.
Okay. As you do, you realize you kind of don't need to. All of the focus has been put on Brian. As you begin sort of charging back out, holding the doctor, you're covered in blood. He's covered in blood. Holding the doctor as the smoke goes through, you can see through this now relatively thin layer of smoke, this huge silverback gorilla, old and now not physically showing impacts from all of these rubber bullets, but there is a sort of circular pattern of various individuals who have been planted firmly into the ground by his fists around him.
Oh god.
He looks back at you, sees you running, takes one last look around, and does not seem to see anyone, but notices that group of 4 individuals who actually had, I guess we'll call them real weapons. And you just hear this thunderous bellow coming from him as he charges one more time directly at them, almost like trying to do a bear hug to the entire group. As you sort of make it to the gate, you can see him, with one fist raised, one out to sort of swing in to grab these people with rifles. And you make it just past the gate when you hear 4 gunshots ring out. And you don't know exactly what happened. At that point, you can see Dara and the kids sort of coughing a ways down, and but having cleared their eyes with what looks like a canteen of water that Dara typically carries with him. He sort of waves to you to follow as they each sort of turn. One of the older boys helps the other one that had gotten hurt, one arm over the shoulder, as they sort of run quickly. Dara helping on the other side, sort of almost picking up the kid between the two of them, as they begin moving as quickly as they can away from the compound. The weight of the doctor, although he's skinny, it's still dead weight. It begins wearing on you as the initial danger is kind of out of the way and you've escaped the compound.
I'd like to.
You do notice something though. There is in his other pocket an unbroken vial amongst a few shards of glass. That, as you've been sort of hauling him out, has sort of come to the surface of his pocket that you can just see.
I will gingerly pick that up and stick it in one of my secure pockets.
Okay.
and then I want to try to find an alleyway to kind of hiding under some shit with.
Okay.
But before I
Um,
actually like cover him up, I want to make sure the alleyway's clear. Take a picture of his face with my data slab or my compad, and just kind of
Okay.
save it for
Okay.
later.
You can. It's relatively easy. You notice that most of the forces or the group that had attacked the compound are still situated over there. You still hear every so often the sound of a rubber bullet flying, or perhaps a real one. You're not sure anymore. It's far enough away, it's hard to tell the difference now. But you sort of move a ways down, a few streets down, and you find an alleyway that is disused. There's a large dumpster in the back. It's piled up with trash. And you sort of set the doctor down and take a picture of him with your data slab. And you can see that Dara is sort of kind of waiting for you. Not at the end of the alleyway, but he was down a few more streets, sort of waiting on you. Trying to lead you to where to go.
All right. Yeah, just gonna rush back up to him and say, had to find somewhere to put the body. Boys don't need to see that.
I get it. Thank you. All right. I know of a spot. Follow me. And between the two of you, you manage to pick up the injured kid. The other one's following as best they can as you, now having led Dara and the kids out of the maelstrom, Dara leads you through the alleyways of the city to hopefully a secure place.
Okay.
So, after an hour or so of travel, he leads you to what looks like a small bakery, disused. Or at least it was a bakery at some point. The windows, several of the windows of the stores has been broken. The door seems a little but it seems that there's a tenement house on the second floor, or just sort of like an apartment, I guess you could say, on the second floor. And he leads all of you up there, carefully, doing his best to make no sign that you guys had walked through. Once you guys are up the stairs, closing the door, locking it, brushing dust back over where your footprints may have disturbed or cleared some. And once at the top of the stairs, and in that sort of apartment area, he advises against using any lights or anything like that that might give you guys away. And immediately, you can see that there is a bedroom with a couple of beds. It's more than you would think for an apartment home. It looks like there's 3 or 4 beds in this one small room, and then there appears to be another bedroom a little ways away.
Looks like
a
an emergency
bathroom.
shelter for like families.
It looks like this. I mean, there's still like regular lamps. It looks like this was an apartment home, a proper one. Maybe it's been modified, a little bit, but it's not like a proper safe house. It's just sort of thrown together, and it looks like it was thrown together based on the dust that you see on every surface a very long time ago. But he quickly moves to the bathroom and pulls out a med kit and begins splinting the kid's leg. And,
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hold that little brat down.
all right, good move. Yeah, there's some screaming and some crying out, and Dara, you can just see sort of a look of sadness on his face as he essentially gives the kid a pillow to bite down on to make sure that he stays quiet as you guys do this. But after about 15, 20 minutes or so, his leg is splinted, and Dara hands the kid a pill and some water, and says it's for the pain. You can see sort of a wave of exhaustion now passing over everyone, and you feel it too. Although maybe not quite to the same extent as them, but close. As Dara sort of picks each kid up slowly and puts them in a bed, puts the two youngest together in one, and each of the oldest gets their own, and sort of sets them up, tucks them in, and tells them each to wait a couple of minutes, and pulls you out into the hallway. Points out the other bedroom, and you notice that there are two beds there as well, and says that you can take your pick of either if you want to get some rest, and that he can stay up for a little bit longer if there's anything that you want to do. And at that point, in all this craziness, you notice that Dara has a backpack on. And he's had this backpack this whole time. It's familiar. You've seen him, he carried it with him when he was doing his lessons and all of that, and sort of looks to you and sort of ushers you that way, and a little bit, letting you sort of take a few minutes to decompress. As he turns back around, walks into the kids' room, you can hear him set that backpack down on the ground and pull open a book and start reading a bedtime story to each of them.
Oh, God.
And you are left alone in the other room. What would you like to do?
First, I'd like to send a message to the ship saying things are fucked. Warehouse has been compromised. And then send him, then wait for a reply from the detective about like what the fuck just happened. I'm gonna hold off on letting anybody know about the Cobalt Shark stuff, or at least the Cobalt Regalia and the 4 riflemen. And then I'm going to start just taking, like, I'm not even going to be subtle about it anymore. I'm just start like taking everything from the luncheon from the doctor's computer and sending it to the secure storage we have on the ship.
All right. In that case, I guess I don't know if Saber's back or not, but someone on the ship, maybe we'll say Leaf.
Yeah, I just got back.
Oh, you are back? Okay. Tex, you see a little message appear on the comms panel to the ship. It appears to be... Is it a video message? Okay. Yeah, you see a message pop up on your comms pad or comms suite, I guess, for the shuttle.
Okay, I'll check it out.
So, yeah, in your own words, Girani, what does it say? Okay. You get this at about, I would say, 4 a.m. local time, about an hour out from the planet. You're kind of just doing your orbital insertion so that you can come down to wherever you need to be.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep heading towards our destination because I'm not going to fly for like 10 hours and then turn around and go back another fucking 10 hours. I just won't go down to the lower level.
Okay.
I'll go to
So
our
your aim is to
plan.
drop to the lower level of the city somewhere.
No. I said I won't go to the lower level.
Okay.
Hence, like, based on his message, like we'll
Yep,
just
sorry.
go to where the fucking cops place is, because that's the last place I know about that's safe.
Okay.
So I can reply via that, right?
Yes,
Like that.
yes, you
Okay,
can
that
reply. Yep.
I'll just tell him, like, I don't give a shit if it's true or not. I'll just say landing already. We'll be outside where we were previously. Need anything? I guess, like, I don't know if it's fucking coded or not. Like, is it a secure message? Do I need to be coy with this?
I guess that's really up to Johnny if he would have sent it, double encrypted or something.
Okay.
Although
Okay,
I do
then I
like
wouldn't worry
to
about being
imagine that that question is in the next message.
Yeah,
Encrypted? Do I need
well, no.
to...
No, because otherwise I just would have been like even more coy and been like, "We got pizza, want any?" and like some fucking weird shit. I don't know, but never mind. No, I'll leave off anything. I'll just tell them that we're landing there.
Right, pizza in that message, and evil would somehow teleport to the ship. So
Yeah, probably.
She somehow gained teleportation.
Yep,
It's a power. You can.
it is. It is. All right. Okay. So I assume you asked for clearance to land at
Yeah,
the
I'll do all the
police
proper stuff.
station.
Yeah.
Okay. You notify them that the ship is a little smaller this time, and they give you a different spot to land. It's actually like a proper shuttle landing pad as opposed to part of the parking lot. But yeah, they clear you to land. Interestingly, Detective Dolan is not the person who responds. It seems to be sort of like peon number 1843, right? Somebody you haven't met.
Hey, what's your name and detailed backstory? I'm kidding.
Fuck you. Do you know how much writing it took to do all of that last little bit?
Who are your parents? Are they still alive?
I'd like to see your tax returns from 3 years ago, please.
Tell me about your hopes and dreams.
What is your first dog's mother's maiden name?
Oh God, what the fuck?
We're finding the password.
Okay. But yeah, it's not Detective Dolan. You are cleared to land. And we'll say you'll be down in about an hour. They give you a priority landing area.
Right.
But as that's happening, back down below in the lower levels, Dara has put the kids to sleep for the most part and moves into the other bedroom where you are, Girani, having given you probably about a half an hour of, time alone. And he removes a board on the wall, sort of just tugging it out, and it wouldn't have suspected that it was actually removable. It's pretty well hidden. And behind that, you can see an electronic control panel, and he presses a few buttons and puts the board back up. And sort of turns to you and says, "Yeah, it's an alarm system. It's quiet, so I'll stay up for the next couple hours. Would you be willing to take over just in case it goes off? I don't think anybody knows about this place."
No, Dara, you take a rest. You and the kids go leave it, and anything goes wrong, I'll pull an all-nighter.
Don't pull an all-nighter, but I do appreciate the rest. Wake me up in a couple hours, and I'll take over.
You got it.
I prefer to be able to do something, and well, I mean, it'll give me a chance to get a head start on breakfast for everybody.
No, go
So
rest.
let's say 3 hours. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Motherfucker, you got a show and a meal? I hate you.
Yeah, Lexi would have handled this situation very differently, and I know that. Yep.
I refer to the chart. Moving on.
Yeah, Leap wouldn't mind testing out his new armor. Just saying.
If you come up with something, that's fair. Okay. You notice that the two exterior cameras have been disabled or destroyed. You're not sure. You don't get a feed from them, or if you do, it's like just sort of a black screen. Nothing, usable or interesting. However, on the interior, that one camera that was viewing down at that seat, right where the splicing typically took place, you do see something. You see 4 individuals who are not in combat gear exactly. They seem to be more, I guess, scientists would be a way to put it. But they're definitely decked out in, like, not so much combat armor, but certainly a kind of uniform. Are rooting around the interior of the warehouse, sort of looking through all the doctor's stuff, just sort of tearing the whole place apart, for lack of a better way to put it. As you're looking, you do notice that one of them, at least, has a patch on his shoulder. He's sort of a weedy-looking guy, pretty thin. Has a little bit of like scruff stubble. It's coming in patches across his face. Does not look like this man can grow a beard very easily. And you see on his shoulder a patch that you recognize, but you're not sure why at first. But after a few seconds, after about a minute, it clicks. It's the patch of the High City. Specifically the High City Security Forces.
Oh.
Dun dun dun. No, sorry.
Well. But beyond just the activity of them, sort of systematically disassembling and checking for, well, you're not 100% sure what, there's not much else to see, unfortunately, at the moment. How do you mean? Oh. You notice that the cameras that, the exterior cameras seem to have been disabled around, well, okay, the front door, I guess you could say, to the warehouse camera was disabled relatively quickly. Get the feeling? Sort of once this group had moved far enough in to get to about where that door is. At the time you were running off through the back gate, the front camera was disabled or destroyed. You're not sure. The back one, as you look through, does have some footage left over. It actually shows you and Dara and the kids running out. And the footage continues for a little while. It doesn't really show anything other than smoke sort of passing for about 10 minutes after the footage shows that, that you guys got away. About 10 minutes further on in the footage, you see three individuals. You're in that same uniform that assaulted the compound, run out through that back door. Sort of looks like they were potentially chasing you, or you're not sure, but certainly scouting for more individuals. The camera keeps going for a bit longer, probably another 20 or so minutes. About 10 minutes after those three individuals leave, you see what looks like lights from maybe a police car or something of that sort coming through the gate, although you can't see it directly. The whatever the vehicle is, but you get the feeling that it's probably a vehicle based on the lighting pattern. And you see 4 people dragging ropes just off to the right-hand side of the screen. And you can see that the camera goes blank relatively shortly afterwards. But you can see a massive, what looks like tarp that has been wrapped around something and is being dragged out the door.
Could be brain. Could be not.
In fact, as that happens, the tarp does fall open a little bit, and you see one large gorilla hand. And then you see one of the 4 individuals armed with actual weapons. Those 4 were the ones hauling this large tarp out. One of them walks back in through the gate and notices the camera, raises his weapon and fires, and the camera's disabled.
Oh, okay. Now I don't feel so good about maybe helping the cops. But that's for another time.
It's been about an hour and a half since you sort of took watch and, going over everything. The shuttle, on the other hand, everyone there, you put down at the police station, and you can, just by being there, see that there is a certain tension in the air, but most of the people that you've seen there before are there. But a couple of officers sort of come out to just sort of take down, the registration number of the vehicle. Same sort of process they did with your ship the last time. Just sort of making sure they know who you are or whatever, and sure you're the right person to have landed there, and you're good to go after about 10 minutes.
All right.
You have free reign to do whatever it is you want to do. But yeah, the place definitely seems a bit busier, but like not crazy.
Okay. Well, I'll turn to everybody else and just say that, our friend got himself into some sort of a situation, so we're actually on standby until he lets us know. So, drinks?
Yeah, may as well.
You would actually know that there are a couple of bars around here. Most of them tend to be kind of cop bars, but they serve good drinks, and they're relatively cheap.
Is there any
For what
place
they
that's
are.
also in or near an inn of some sort, hotel, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, actually,
'Cause we'll
one
need
of the
beds.
places they go is a hotel bar
Sure,
that has sort
perfect.
of been turned into a cop bar, kind of. It's for the local equivalent of like a Holiday Inn.
Sure, good enough.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's not terrible, and it's pretty cheap. So, and they have sort of like a dive bar or a sports bar sort of situation going on there. So you guys can head over there and get some drinks. And some rooms for the
Works for
night if
me.
that's what you want to do.
Yep.
Okay. As you enter in, you see that the bar isn't empty, but there are not too many people in there. It's sort of like a bar restaurant sort of thing. But there's maybe 3 or 4 people. It's pretty late at night at the moment. But it's pretty relaxed. There's a sort of hostess that leads you guys over. Are you guys looking to sit at the bar, or you guys want a booth, or what do you want?
How many of us is there? 4, 5?
No, you got. Nor did you came, or Jace, you came with the group, right? I assume, because I think it was just.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's what I
so
thought.
1, 2,
Yeah, it's a 4 of us.
3, 4. Yep.
Okay, yeah, we'll get a booth. That's fine.
All right. Leads you off to a pretty wide, comfortable booth, sort of towards the back of the establishment, with a view out over the police station, but across the city a little bit, as you guys are sort of on a raised part of the block. So you get sort of a nice view of the lights and the sky as the ships enter and exit the atmosphere. You can see little shooting stars that are indicative of some of the larger ones taking off and all. You brought drinks and food, whatever it is you like, as you hang out. If you want to ask about rooms or something like that, you can. And they'll sort of, there's it's almost like a hotel menu, I guess you could say, or just sort of, a suite is this much per night and all that good stuff that they can bring by. And thankfully, this is run by the hotel, so everything can be applied to the same bill.
Cool.
That's just sort of my own pet peeve that I'm rectifying in my game. Sorry, I don't like going up to the hotel corner counter and the restaurant without. Yeah. Like I said, my own pet peeve. Anyway, but yeah, so rooms for like a double queen would be something like about 60 creds a night.
That's fine. We'll get 2.
Okay. And your meals per person gonna be, we'll say, with drinks, we'll just say an average of 10 credits per person. That's all night, drinks for as long as you're there.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. I think it comes to 160 total. It's not too
Yeah.
crazy. So, as you guys sort of wait on anybody or on Girani to get a hold of you, you hang out there, sort of discussing whatever it is you'd like to discuss, and we'll get to that in a moment. When you see a couple of other sort of cops slowly filter in, maybe 2 or 3 that you feel, or that you can kind of tell they're still in uniform, but they definitely just got off shift. You go up to the bar and they're sort of just chatting. Sort of, they look tired, but pretty happy as they sit down and start talking with the bartender, who's sort of this older gentleman, probably in his 60s or so, maybe 70s even. White hair. Pours each one, without them even asking, pours a couple of glasses of what you assume is their favorite drink and sets them out on the table for him as the three of them sort of talk amongst themselves. So, yeah. Any further plans while you're here, getting drinks and all, or?
No, none for me.
Okay.
Lexi's kind of like half in her head. She's still kind of like spending the day trying to like get used to and familiarize herself with the whole headphone thing.
Okay.
Literally headphone.
Yep.
Oh, I'd forgotten about
yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
I don't think you guys know though, do you? I don't think.
I don't. Yeah, unless
No, I don't think either of us talked about it.
I don't think either of you talked about it with each other either.
No, I know about hers. She doesn't know about mine.
Yeah,
but I know about hers.
Right.
That's fair. Yeah, because you went with the first time and then sort of circled back.
Yeah.
Quietly. That's fair. All right. Ronnie?
So yeah, probably like after I finish going over that footage, I'll go ahead and like let them know, hey, I am safe, but I don't think this strike was well, let me send you the footage. And I'm gonna send them what surviving footage I have left from the High City stuff, going through the doctor's stuff, and also dragging the bodies out.
So, for the first time, the everything's fucked down here statement gets some context for those of you sitting at the bar. Which is really weird for Lexi as the interior of one eye begins playing back the footage. So
what
you
the
can
fuck is
see
this?
one,
What is
and
happening?
the other one is just this footage, and it almost serves as like an overlay, like a double vision overlay, of what's of the footage itself.
Lexi instinctively
Wait,
punches
no,
in that direction.
I put my hand on her shoulder and like show her that my phone is doing it too. So like maybe she'll make the connection. Hey, whoa, what's
All
going
right,
on?
mid pudge.
Easy, easy,
She'll hold it.
easy, yeah.
Okay, so Leaf, this fist swings out and stops about a quarter inch before your nose, from Lexi.
He can't tell because he's viewing the. Wait,
You're
does
just
the does the Salt armor have like a heads-up display?
I would assume it has a kind
Well,
of heads-up display.
It does say that it has like military
Yeah.
communications, so yeah, he doesn't even fucking notice.
Okay. So yeah, Lexi, your fist stops about a quarter inch before the visor on Leaf's armor, and you pull it back, and Leaf does not seem to notice at all. All right, but yeah, now you're all sort of brought up to speed, and some context is given to Girani's situation, shall we say?
Shall we
As
go
you all see
bail him out?
those same things.
No, I mean the message that I was in a safe spot would have come with that.
Yep.
I guess we'll just keep standing by.
But you said there wasn't a camera for like the little assembly area, right? Or was that the camera only for the operating chair?
There's only a camera for the operating chair. Not for the meeting area. Exactly. The meeting area kind of was around, or was near that chair. Like you could kind of see it in the background a little bit, but not much.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna send an attachment or just send an extra text message after that it'll lay low for a couple hours, but I'll be back. They were trying to, I think they were trying to screen them being cops by using what looked like cobalt shark badges, and then to go ahead and tune off from there and wait like another 2 hours before I go wake up Tara.
Okay. And you guys have some context for that. You see sort of the some of the uniforms from or the stuff people were wearing on the outside of the warehouse itself, and you kind of see the gear. It's sort of generic, almost like tactical style stuff, but it has like this sort of blue patch on one shoulder that you're kind of familiar with. You've seen Girani's before. His little symbol patch thingamajig. But as you guys sort of sit in the booths, the bar begins to fill up a little bit further. A few more people filter in, sort of getting off shift, and then you see a group of maybe 4 or 5 individuals come through, and they're not wearing the same sort of cop uniform, I guess you could call it, and seem pretty boisterous. They're yelling, cheering, seem to be coming in off a high of some. And as you guys watch, they sit down at the bar, start ordering drinks, and start talking about finally taking out some of those fucking troublemakers down there. Finally, we got them squared away. Don't got to worry about them no more. Ain't gonna fuck with our shit. And you see one of them tears off a somewhat familiar, you had just been told about, blue patch, and sort of literally on the bar lights it on fire, and they just begin laughing. You want to do about it? I said he's a little different. But yeah, you do see a few patches on them that have, it looks like they relatively recently slapped on it because they're not straight, right? Like they're somewhat crooked and all. Patches of high city cops,
Right.
I guess you could call them.
I was just muted, actually. I just would have said, like, oh, that might be the folks right there. But also, fucking Girani, we're not going to shoot him in the face in the middle of a fucking crowded bar. Oh, no. I was muted. But nobody else said shit.
Yeah, well.
What is find hot singles in the local area?
Oh, God damn it. I'm gonna text Lexi. I'm gonna text
Okay.
Lexi and just send a message of just like, it's your phone. People are going to think you're crazy if you keep talking about it. But then that's it. That's all.
Like,
Yeah,
people
Lexi,
just turn to you and be like, why do you text me? You can just turn to speak. I do not understand.
Do you want them to know or not?
What?
Are you trying to keep it a secret or what?
I didn't think about that. I just wanted fun that I did not have to worry about. Now
Well,
it is
then you
headphones.
can tell him. All right, there you go. There, you done
Well,
told him. She got an implant.
What? Who am I telling?
Our
What?
people here in this booth.
Oh yes, I have
yeah.
headphones now.
Seems to be you're having a little issue with it. There for a bit, I thought you were going crazy.
Very confusing. I see very many things that I do not understand, but I'm trying to get used to it.
She didn't pay for Ad Block Plus.
But what is ad block?
That's something you should have got, apparently.
I will talk to Giovanni later.
You pay for that?
What?
No,
I have to pay
no,
to
no.
use headphone now. What?
No,
I will.
no,
I
it's
will
fine.
fucking punch someone right now. I swear.
Go punch them.
No. No.
He
who?
points to the guys with the
Lexi
patches.
stands up.
Oh shit! Yes,
Yes.
Dad's puppets.
Why do I fight them? What did they do?
They did some bad stuff. Didn't you see all the stuff earlier in your new headphone?
What? I was swiping away ads. Many ads. I could not see anything.
AIDS?
Ads.
That's what I said too.
Ads.
You might want to go see a doctor about that.
Meanwhile, Lexi's on Tinder over here.
Okay, now I'm just going to fight these men because you anger me right now, and they need to punch something. So yeah, she's gonna start walking over to him. All right. So what does she notice? She sees
Wait.
patches, right?
Very quietly as you go, Texas says, "No, please stop. Wait." Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Leaf just leans back and just watching.
Okay. Lexi, you
I'm just
see.
sitting in the corner eating popcorn.
Hold on 1 second.
Why did you coax
There we
my
go.
fucking character, you asshole? It was
Oh,
too
man.
easy.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
made it too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Munch, munch.
So you see
This
four
is gonna be
cops.
glorious.
Oh,
You
they're
see four
cops.
Well, security forces, so basically cops.
Oh, okay, okay.
With high city patches on their shoulders, currently lighting something on fire on the bar and laughing about stuff.
All
You're
right,
not
so-
100% sure. You were busy trying to find singles in your area
I'm-
up until
I'm-
now.
I'm
All right,
slowly
so
counting to
Lexi's-
10.
Lexi's gonna do something interesting, and she's gonna I guess I don't know. I guess provided like a video feed to people on her friends list, which would be everybody in the crew and shit,
Skype
so
people.
they could see
Okay.
like video feed through her eye. So she's gonna she's gonna flick that on and like hello, I see you burning something there. Is it celebration? What is happening?
Oh, we finally put those motherfuckers down. We don't got to worry about them. No.
Who?
Having a good
What do
day.
you mean? Who in who you speak of?
You know. The bad ones. Fucking takers.
Punches
Entitled.
him in the face.
Okay.
Just like mid talk, she just like sucker punches him.
Okay. He's already a little bit drunk, but okay. You punch him square in the nose, and he was kind of swinging a little bit back and forth at the time, and you managed to basically knock him right off his stool, into the bar, and then sort of down on the ground. The other two, it takes them just like a fraction of a second, and they both whip out these stun batons.
8, 9, 10. Okay, let's go. And I'm gonna fucking rush over there to her. I just like grab her shoulder and be like, whoa, hey, easy there, gentlemen. I'm terribly sorry. My compadre here's had a few too many whiskeys, if you know what I mean. But here, let me buy you fellas some drinks and we'll get all this sorted out.
Why
Okay.
do you told me to punch?
No. See, look right over there is the bartender. Come on over here, mister. We got some drinks to pour on over here. All right, cool. Let's go do it.
You know what?
Fucking do it.
Bar brawl.
I'm just trying to
Oh,
save
man.
her fucking life.
Okay.
We're at a cop bar, Lexi.
From the
Give
booth,
me
you hear, bar fight.
Yeah, right.
Give me like a. Oh man.
That would be like
Talk with
Something with
charisma?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm not
Talk, I'm okay
100%
with.
sure. Yeah, that would work, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Talk with charisma.
Wait, I'm doing this?
No.
No, me.
Oh,
me.
good. Oh, good.
6.
Okay.
Luckily, I took a thing in talk last time, so
And,
not charisma, but talk.
yeah, so as you're sort of talking to them, sort of calming them down, basically just ordering drinks right away, throwing credits up on the bar, costs you about 20.
Jeez, that's fucking
The
expensive shit.
yeah, they start asking for the good stuff comparatively. But
It's
after
okay, we'll
about
kill
20
these guys
credits,
later and take it back.
yeah, after about 20 credits or so, the 3 others sort of calm down. The guy on the floor is still a little woozy. And you start leading Lexi back. Are you guys just gonna leave the bar at this point? Because that might not be a terrible idea.
Did we eat yet?
But yeah, you would have eaten. You've been here for about an hour.
Then we got
You can
we already
hang
got
out too.
rooms.
It's up to you.
Do they have?
Yeah.
If it's a Holiday Inn, do they have a pool?
There is in fact a small pool.
Okay.
It's the typical sort of like hotel terrible pool,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's a pool.
It's like the size of a hot tub for Lexi. I'll just say, Lexi, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go
yeah,
cool
that's
off.
fair.
All right.
Underwater
I'll bring everybody
combat.
else with
I
us.
like the way you're thinking, Saber.
So, as you sort of gather up everybody and you're sort of like leading Lexi out, Leaf and Jace sort of walk out ahead of you. You did roll a 6. So the guy who was knocked to the floor, all of a sudden, Lexi, you get clocked in the back of the head.
Oh shit! Get him!
Oh.
He asked for it now.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Self-defense.
You calm down everybody else, but he's still pissed.
Oh, that's fine.
So he's
We're out of the room now, though,
behind
right?
us?
You're kind of like in the doorway that leads out of you're like at the door of the restaurant, sort of where it leads out into the hallway of the hotel.
Did this damage me at all?
I'm not gonna. We're gonna go with like it's not so much damage as he hits you. I mean, enough to get your attention, but I'm not gonna say it's gonna.
Well,
I
I know Lexi, and Lexi does not like being attacked, so I don't even think she would even look to see who it was. If she felt a force hit her, she would
Yeah.
probably just try to counter in that direction with as much force as humanly possible.
Nice.
Okay. You know what? For shits and giggles, roll me either exert with strength or punch with strength, whichever you would like.
Let's do exert.
Okay. Tex, you're sort of leading Lexi out, one arm around her back, sort of guiding her out as she's still confused about you told her to do a thing and then stuff changed and you're not sure what. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like you kind of feel Lexi move from the impact of the punch. And you're on her left side. And as that happens, Lexi, you just instinctively do a back fist around. And there's sort of like a small sound of like, like a punch sort of sound on as the hit Lexi. And then there's a cracking sound as the back fist strikes into this guy's cheek. Lexi, you don't even notice. But there's like a cracking sound and then just sort of a crumpling noise from behind you. And as you continue, Texas, you sort of try to usher Lexi out. You both look back, and the guy who Lexi punched initially is now on the floor.
What the fuck was that?
Out cold.
That was damn
And
good.
the other guys sort of just raise their shot glasses to you like fuck it. Don't care anymore.
Yes.
She'll give him like a big fist in the air, like.
But yeah, you are
Kinda
essentially
looks
home free.
disappointed.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, let's go for a fucking swim.
All right. You guys are given sort of like key cards to your rooms. You guys have 2 rooms across from each other in the hallway, and on the 2nd floor. And you guys can go get changed with whatever you want or whatever. Go swim. It's no problem. It's late enough, or it's early enough in the morning that like nobody's in the pool right now.
It's fucking
It's like
morning.
it's like 4 in the morning right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
I
call
feel
that
so
late,
bad for
but
the janitor that's gonna have to find that poor guy in the middle of that corridor there.
fuck 'em.
No, it's actually you guys go up, get changed, and as you guys sort of come down, you know the pool and the bar butt up into the hallway, right? You can kind of see one from the other, and you see the 3 guys sort of dragging out this crumpled form on the ground. As you do. Apparently, they left him there for like a good 15 minutes while they finished their drinks before hauling him out into the what looks like a police cruiser of some kind that's parked up near the hotel.
I see. That's how you do it. Got away scot clean, free, and got a good punch in. Got a couple good punches in actually.
That was a slip.
All right, got a good slap in.
All right. Well, you all go for a swim, having rested plenty on the flight over. Still have some energy and all. You have the rooms for the next, the following night. As you got there at like 2 a.m., they basically gave you the rest of the day and the following night prorated. So you're good. And yeah, you get an interesting swim in. Do what you will. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys come up with whatever the fuck you're doing there, and Jirani and the guys on the ship give you a chance to come up with whatever the fuck you're doing where you're at. But I'd like to take another couple minutes break, and I will ask you whatever the hell you're doing in your various places when we get back.
Gotcha. I'm pretty sure I've got an idea.
I'll
Anyways,
be right
Okay.
back.
I might have an idea too, but we'll see. All right. Yeah, let's call it 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna go grab a granola bar and some other stuff, and then we'll be good to go. Because I am hungry now.
That was fun.
back. So, I don't know about everybody else.
I never left.
Yep.
Well, guess we can go over to the ship really quickly. While everybody else is coming. Oswald, you get a message.
Neato.
It's a video message. It seems like it's probably bounced around a lot before it eventually got to you.
Mhm.
You open it?
Yeah. I'll just kind of, as it's actually there's kind of a projector on the side of the table here. So
Okay.
while I'm working on something, maybe fitting some of the plating onto the suit here, I'll just wave my hand, tap the projector, and let it play while I'm working.
Okay. The first a video comes up on sort of the side of the wall. The one mostly blank side of the wall. It might be overlaying like a render.
I'm picturing hologram, like it's just kind of
Okay.
floating above the table.
Okay. Yeah,
But-
that's fair. Yeah, so yeah, that works. There's a little video playing and at first it's just sort of this well, it's weird. You're looking at the interior or there's like it looks like maybe inside of a huge cave with like scaffolding coming out of the rocks and stuff. And as the video sort of swings around, you see a familiar face enter into the frame, that of Alia, and she sort of looks into the camera and says, "Oswald, I have an interesting project for you that you might be interested in. I could certainly use your help. We well, perhaps I'll show you." And she turns the camera a bit, and so her face is still in frame, and behind her you can see a large, well, about the size of your guys' ship, about the size of the Horizon, but a spear-like ship, um, sort of half disassembled, with large engine nacelles. And she looks into the camera and says, "We've been, shall we say, tasked with restoring this ship for some interesting purposes. I could really use your help, and I'd very much like to see you again. Um, there are some interesting people here. I think you would very much enjoy it. If you get a chance, you can bring your new mech, and I'd be happy to work on that with you as well. But yes, we are over in a place called the Blue Heaven. It is a asteroid, a large asteroid base. We're not there exactly, but we're close. Um, Meet me there at your earliest convenience, if you would like. It's quite extensive and quite well. We're doing some pretty fun things. I can't really say uh, here at the moment, but come on by. I think it'd be fun. And like I said, I wouldn't have anyone else working on it but you. So I hope to see you soon. And then the message ends.
All right. I'm going to sort of, as soon as Alia came up, Oz just stopped working, just was on his knees by the thing and just looked at the hologram, kind of half taking in the information, half just watching. But as it ends, all of what was said just kind of rushes into his head, recognizes what exactly is going on, runs over, taps the thing again, does a strange little symbol with his hand, which seems to activate something as a few projector lines just kind of pour over him instead of on the onto like the center table here. And he says into what is a recording. Yeah, I'll be right there. I just gotta get some things set up. I've been working on stuff. He does a Hanson again, just kind of the wires kind of flip over around the room to the suit, and they flip back to him. I mean, a video seems what we're doing right now, so I guess I'll do that. The thing is, the suit, not that suit, other suit, is still a work in progress. I haven't quite had the resources, but you have resources and talents and assets and all that, and I'm gonna go over there as soon as possible. Bye. And I'm going to hit stop, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna send that in the vague direction of the thing. And then I'm going to send another video after that that says, by the way, this is Oswald, this is for Alia. I'm going to attach these two together just so you know. It's better than just splicing. Anyways, just get it to her. And I send them both off.
All right. You send them both off following roughly the same route to the same pickup point for the next courier. And hopefully to be headed out soon.
Yeah. Did she give like what is it, coordinates in that?
Yes. Let me grab that real quick. Heaven is up here. I think.
What was the name of the place? Sorry.
It is called Blue Heaven. Is the closest place, or the place she sort of gave to you as a location. I'm just trying to remember. Here we go. It is in a system called 806 Madrissa. Specifically, it is coordinates 0303 on the map.
It's not too far from here, hopefully. I don't think so, anyways.
I will move you to the map so that you can see.
Let's see. 0303.
There's a trade route directly, yeah. So
yeah. We're still gonna have to jump to 0105 and then get the fuel to jump here, I think. But
you guys have fuel bunkers? You can do 4 sectors instead of 2 now.
okay.
Or you will be able to once the ship is complete in another 5-6 days.
Quite that neat.
Yeah, you
Just
can get there.
All right. I'm gonna get a message to folks on the ground that basically says, just so you all are aware, I've got a job offer for myself that I am almost certainly going to be taking. I don't know how extensive it's going to be for you lot, if there's anything else around there, but it's a place to look, I guess. You might need a new fixer for the time being, but I promise I'll be back at some point. Also, I'm taking the med.
So that shows up in everybody's compad about 2 minutes later. 4:30. Everybody else is in the pool, so all your data pads are sort of off to the side, except for Lexi, whose eye starts going fucking crazy again. So, yeah. Lexi starts talking to herself, and everybody else knows to go and check their data pad. Johnny, yeah, you're getting close to the end of your watch.
God damn it, Oswald, where are you going? You gonna go see your girlfriend?
Is that a message or is that just mumblings?
No, that's just mumblings.
Okay.
But you would get a message back. It's like, are you taking the ship with you right now? Without.
He responds, no, but after this, there is a brief pause before the word debacle is sent. I would like to be dropped off near a place called Blue Heaven.
Sounds like a wonderfully questionable resort, but I would not mind leaving this planet as soon as possible.
Well, now I have a destination, he sends back.
Great. Just the word great. And then
Uh,
I'll send a private message to Jace's pad. Listen, Doc handed me some stuff. Also, he's dead. But he definitely wanted you to have this. So once I am back up and human again, that would be great. And yeah, that's
Okay. I'll send a message back saying, okay, look forward to hearing the story.
Did I misinterpret the call from Ozzy? Is that a like I'm leaving the group, or like I have a job for all of us next?
He has dates, silly man.
No, I'm asking her to make sure I'm understanding right, so it will change Tex's response. Thunder, you're muted. All right,
From what I
Ozzy.
gathered,
Next time we find him.
it was I have a job for a little while on my own, but I'll probably be back. I'll be back afterwards, but I'd like to be dropped off somewhere to do a job on my own for a bit.
All right, that's fine. Then fuck him. I'm not gonna reply because he's not here.
Okay.
Well.
Oh yeah.
I do got to slip out of here though, so I'm gonna call it earlier here.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm thinking we're probably gonna be wrapping up relatively soon, but
Wow.
yeah.
Bye, bestie.
Later.
This was yeah, I think we can call it around here.
Yeah, before we go, I'm just gonna fire off a
What's
message.
gonna go down under?
A tersely worded message to Detective Dolan about, did you know about this high city security force operation that's coming down tonight? Because if you did, a heads up would have been great.
Before you go to sleep, still no answer from Detective Dolan. However, actually, I will leave it here. This is a one last thing. As the next day comes, everybody is working or sleeping on, and whatever. Does a group on the planet other than Girani sort of head back to the shuttle to check on it? I assume at some point in the day. One of the security forces approaches whoever's there. Who would be checking on the shuttle? I assume Tex would be one of them.
That'd be me.
Okay. Tex, you're approached by one of the individuals, one of the security forces, and asked to come with them just for a moment, and led inside to Detective Dolan's office, actually. But he's not the one there. Somebody else is. A kind of, we'll call him, how do I want to put this? Sort of on the older side, probably like in his 50s, I'd say. Yeah, sort of salt and pepper hair, a little bit ear gut going on, definitely. Kind of a good old boy type. He looks to you and says, "Well," and you do pick up the accent, but well, y'all have been quite helpful. Thank you so much. Without y'all's help, we took care of the problem. That's all you need to know. And without all y'all's help, we couldn't have really done that before. So here you go. Here's your payment." And he hands you a credit stick for 150,000. It looks like if we need your services again, we'll get a hold of you. Thank you so very much.
That's much obliged. Sounds like must have gone pretty well then. But where's Detective Dolan?
Oh, well, we like to say you get promoted up, right? So he got a promotion.
Is there a space equivalent of insight check?
I'll give you talking wisdom.
Sure. Yeah, fuck it, sure.
Talking wisdom or noticing wisdom, I guess. Probably be the one.
Both the
Either
same.
one.
So it doesn't. That's fine.
Yeah.
3. Nope.
I
Wow.
mean, you're not sure what he means by promotion, but even without the role, like, you get the feeling there's more to that story. You don't know if he actually got promoted or if he just got reassigned or something worse. You're not sure, but even without you have no idea what the fuck he exactly means at all.
Right.
But he probably doesn't mean exactly promoted.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting. Okay.
Got promoted
Then
to the afterlife.
something like that. He got promoted to the dumpster outback.
Never know.
Okay. Oh wait, I want to check. Is there? Well, just to be clear, the our man on the inside was, everything's okay with him as far as you know, right?
We didn't see nobody like that. Pretty sure he's fine. And I mean, if if we'd run into him and we got his details, we wouldn't have messed with him or nothing.
Okay,
So,
that's good to know.
yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm working with good, upstanding folk who honor their deals.
Of course. Unlike some people in this world, you kind of get this feeling that he knows exactly who he's talking about. I do hold to my deals, and that's why you got paid. Now, I got so very much paperwork, so I'm gonna let you go. Um, Feel free to leave the shuttle here for another day. After that, you're gonna have to move it. Just we need the space. We got some higher ups coming in, and they're gonna need that landing pad. So you got it for tonight, no problem. Just try to get it moved by tomorrow if you could. Appreciate it.
Certainly, we'll have to get our inside man, and we'll be on our way.
Sounds good. You do what you need to do. And he sort of sits back down and starts going through paperwork and quickly sort of looks back up. Oh, and if you could, go ahead and close the door on your way out.
Of course, yeah. And I'll close the door, maybe just a little bit harder than I should have.
Okay.
And I'll return back to the group.
Okay. So you're 150,000 credits richer.
And no one else knows I have the money. I'm going to leave. I'm going to escape the plane. I'm going to get the shuttle and go.
Oh, so Texas now the Blue Falcon.
My plan has worked.
But yeah, I think that's where we'll end. That's the first thing you kind of do in the morning when you wake up, for the purposes of this. And Dara takes a watch, cooks breakfast for when you wake up. Jirani, everybody else gets some sleep. Lexi wakes up with just a minor little bruise on the back of her head, nothing major, because guy could not punch for shit anyway. And that's where we'll end for today.
For the record, I am putting this into the ship's funds already, so it'll all be in there.
Okay. Hope you guys. I kind of went a little bit more on my storytelling side today, and hopefully that was at least somewhat interesting.
Can we nuke the city from orbit also?
Or at least the top part.
Yeah. Let's fucking play both sides.
Yeah.
We could just
Well.
drop something from really high up, and that'll probably cause some damage.
Have you learned nothing from all your time down
Sadly.
there? They're people too.
Yeah, right.
It's still
Sadly,
human, or at least the
procedure
majority.
is not reversible.
Imperfect, and
You
certainly.
round up the human. Does that help?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the procedure is not reversible.
Go into that.
The scary thing is that I had a lot of sources to go on for that whole thing, and some of my own experience, I'm sure. So now, could you ever do the gas chamber?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Love
shit.
that thing.
Yeah, that's
Love
where I
that
pulled
thing.
a lot of that tear gas
Yep.
stuff from.
I've-
It's not
I've heard-
fun.
Yeah, I've heard my brother talk about that. I'm like, fuck that shit.
Oh no, it was
Yeah.
great. At least for me, because I went in with like a minor sinus infection. When I come out of that
Oh,
thing,
you got lucky as fuck.
I was clear.
I did not, and my ass got put. My last name starts with B,
Mm-hmm.
and that matters for this reason.
Because you go first.
I'm first, and I'm closest to that fucking pellet.
Yep.
Or I'm really, really close. That was not a good time,
Oh.
and it was only one fucking pellet. We got lucky. They
You
were
got
gonna
one-
throw a whole bunch. Well, it wasn't one. It was just like a couple. But it wasn't like, like I watched the group before us go, and their instructors fucking loaded that pan up hard, and I was just like, oh
We
god.
didn't get that. We got the actual grenade. Tear
Oh,
gas.
fair.
CS gas grenade.
Yeah.
See you pull the pin, drop it in a bucket. It's like, oh, goody. This is gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So, for some context, just on my own personal side, I like being able. I hope this session was interesting. I know it was very Girani focused, but I'm hoping it was good.
Yeah, fuck that.
And
Yeah, I think leave him. We got the money. So just
Yep.
but
leave him.
I just know that when I'm on call, I really can't focus enough to bring
Yep.
my A game, which is why next week will be All Flesh Must Be Eaten with Tanaka. And if you guys want to jump in, it's really fun. It's going to be a good time. It's stupid crazy. It's stupid crazy, and I get to actually play with you guys, which I'm looking forward to. The following 2 weeks will be
And the system
ours
is
again.
pretty simple.
Yeah, it's super easy. So, but that way I can at
Speaking of
least.
which, I was incorrect on combat. It is combat is a contested role.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, we'll get
I got
that
to
all
read and I'm
squared
like, oh, okay. Well, good thing we haven't been in combat yet.
Yep. But yeah, I want to try to bring my A game as much as I can and make sure that I'm feeling up to everything. And I hope today actually felt pretty decent, so I hope that came through.
Oh yeah. Thanks again for the amazing session.
Yeah, what
Yeah, the
But,
almost bar fight was fun.
That was interesting. Yeah. I was like, if you had rolled like lower than, if you'd rolled like a 5 or lower, they were all just gonna start piling on. But you were like,
then we
at
would have
that
had a real
little
good
part.
time
Oh
Yeah, I know. I was like kind of hoping, honestly.
with my terrible strength score. Can you punch with dexterity too? Is that a thing?
I think to hit is dexterity, but damage is based on strength.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, it kind of depends. I'll have to read that up on that. I honestly don't know off the top of my head.
Because spoiler
For-
alert, Tex is weak as fuck.
for anybody who's still watching,
I think you would have a -1 to your damage,
In
which
this
means if you roll a 1, you are
crazy-ass
hitting and doing nothing.
Yeah, strength is
Post-credits.
-1 for me.
thank you for staying around for so long. And also, why are you staying around for so long? Go do something better, like literally anything. And we'll catch you next week with All Flesh Must Be.